I'm a slave from a land so far. I was caught and I was brought here from Africa. I'm a slave from a land so far. I was caught and I was brought here from Africa. Well, it was mixed like fire from the white slave master every day. I down on my knees, weeks and weeks before we crossed the seas to reach in the West Indies. And then they make me work.
Yes, I work.
I said I work.
And I work.
Good
Lord, no pay.
I toil,
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 toil.
hard each day.
I'm dying. I'm crying, my God. Ooh, well, Lord, I want to be free. Cha. Many times I wanted to run, but the English slave master standing there with the gun, the gun, the gun. Oh, I know he gonna shoot to kill. So I stay and I pray, but I plan it still. Yes, I study night and day how to break away. I got to make a brilliant escape. But every time I think about the whip and them dogs, my body that start to shake. He make me work.
Yes, I work.
I said I work.
Yes, I work.
Oh Lord,
Lord, no pay.
I toil,
Toil,
I toil,
toil,
I toil,
toil,
I toil, I toil
hard each day.
I'm dying. I'm oh Lord, I want to be free. In my heart, there was much to say, and I hope that the boss would have listened to me someday. Although he knew my request was small, it was the sting of the whip there to answer me when I called. We had to chant and sing to express our feeling to that wicked and cruel man. That was the only medicine to make him listen. And it's so calypso began. He made me work.
Yes, I work.
I work.
And I work.
Oh Lord,
Lord, no pay.
I toil, I toil, I toil, I toil,
hard each day.
I'm dying, oh Lord. Crying to my God. Well, Lord, I want to be free, my God. And then times change in so many, many, many ways. Till one day, somebody said, free the bloody slaves. I was then put out on the street. I had no clothes, I had no food, I had no place to sleep. Lord, I had no education, no particular ambition. This I cannot conceal. Forgot my native culture. I live like a vulture. From the white man I had to steal because he made me work.
Yes, I work.
I work.
Yes, I work.
Oh Lord,
No pay.
time,
Toil,
time,
toil, toil, toil. Hard each day.
I'm dying. Well, Lord, I want to be free. My God. Oh, Lord. And then times change in so many, many, many ways. Till one day, somebody said, free the bloody slaves. I was then put out on the street. I had no clothes, I had no food, I had no place to sleep. Lord, I had no education, no particular ambition. This I cannot conceal. Forgot my native culture. I live like a vulture. From the white man I had to steal because he made me work.
Yes, I work.
I work.
Yes, I work.
Oh Lord,
No pay.
time,
Toil,
time,
toil, toil, toil. Hard each day.
I'm dying. Oh Lord, I want to be free.
One of the great pieces of artwork to come out of our Caribbean. The Mighty Sparrow. I am a slave. And so far, I was brought in from Africa. I thought when I was brought away from this like fire from the white slave master. Every day down on my knees. We want to be free. We want to be free. No pay, no pay. The Mighty Sparrow. I'm a slave. I'm a slave. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to Politics 101. It's a Wednesday evening, and we are here to witness again. Welcome, wherever you're joining us from, whether you're joining us from our Caribbean, the old West Indies. There's a little difference with the two, you know. The old West Indies, or the West Indies, is really the islands that Mr. Columbus got lost, and he landed. He was headed for the east, and he got lost and ended in Hispaniola. And so he gave the islands the name West Indies, since he was headed for the East Indies. And, poor chap got lost. And he said, well, he called it West Indies. So the West Indies are really the old West Indies, as we would call them. And then, of course, the Caribbean is the larger Caribbean, the islands and the mainland countries that are washed by the Caribbean Sea. And the name Caribbean comes from the Caribs. You know, he met the Carib tribes, the Carib tribe, you know, and he was good at giving names. And so he named the Caribbean. So that's where our West Indies and our Caribbean come from. Welcome to the Wednesday evening edition of Politics 101. Politics 101. We're doing it here. We do it here every evening. Every evening. I'm a slave, brought from a land so far. I was caught and I was brought here from Africa. Every day down on my knees. But I know I want to be free. I want to be free. The chains are off. The shackles are off. But every time I hear the crack of the whip, my blood runs cold. Because I know what slavery is. You know? I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate and the scorn of myself. I turn to the world of tomorrow with all of my strength. I know what it is to suffer. I know what it is to suffer. That is why I say, if we must die, then let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot. If he must die, let us nobly die, that even the monsters we now defy shall be constrained to honor us. Do that. I'm mixing it up. A little bit of Claude McKay, a little bit of Martin Carter, a little bit of Bob Marley, a little bit of Sparrow. We are all we have. We are all we have. We are all we have. And in struggle, we learn to stay put. 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 What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to help to chain ourselves? Or are we going to help to keep ourselves free? That's the challenge. That's the challenge. Are we going to help to chain ourselves, or are we going to keep ourselves free? That's the challenge. In a normal country, where everyone is vying and competing for power, I will tell you, listen to everyone and make a decision. Listen to everyone and make a decision. But in the abnormal situation that we have in Guyana, I can't tell you that. Our objective has to be keep all our troops. I can't tell you, give everybody a listening ear. If you're poor, if you're black, not one damn vote for the PPP. And if they come into your community trying to catch you, defend your community against them and against the slave catchers in your community. These are no democratic situation. Not one damn vote for the PPP. And we must, in our communities, identify those who want to sell their votes. We have work to do. We have work to do. We have work to do. Not one damn vote for the PPP. If you want to vote for the PPP, move out and go away. Move out. Move out and go away. Call it as it is. Do it as it is. We are not in no democratic situation. The other side is not playing democratic. The other side is not playing fair. I still hear some of you still arguing about Aubrey and Nigel and who is better. Time for that has passed. The argument must be, who is better, Jagdio and them over there, or the rest of we? That is what the argument must be. I told you all last night. Fellow named Andrew Weeks. He works for the AFC. And he put up a poll if the coalition go together, who should be the candidate? Nigel or Aubrey? And I called Andrew and I said, Andrew, if you're doing poll, this is not no fight between Aubrey and Nigel. There have a lot of people in the opposition coalition. And if you want to do your little poll to sound out people, you put Aubrey, Nigel, and others. And I told him, you got another party who say who the presidential candidate is. Why not put Aubrey and Nigel and that other presidential candidate and others? He put a thumb up to me. I'm still waiting on him to change the poll. Andrew Weeks is his name. I'm calling him out. Because now is not the time to set us against each other. And if you are serious about finding out public opinion, why you're pitting Nigel versus Aubrey, your question should be the team. Aubrey, Nigel, what? We don't need that now. And I say, Andrew, if you all start with a hierarchy now, when you all get power, what you all gonna do? That is what shit me up with the coalition the last time. And I'm calling on Nigel and the AFC people to tell Andrew to fix that. Andrew Weeks. He used to be with the PNC, get around with Norton them. He gone over to the AFC now and he picking, setting up fight. We did a straw poll a couple of weeks ago. We put Aubrey, we put Nigel, we put Irfan, we put David Hines, we put other, and we left it open for people to put in other. In that poll, we, David Hines, become fourth. Nigel and Aubrey and Irfan, they bring first, second, and third. We didn't put we self and somebody else. We cannot be fighting among ourselves now. The time for that is past. I think I know something about Black people. We tend to be kind of fair, you know? We want to be nice to everybody, so, you know, we tend to engage in self-criticism, which I think is a good thing. You know, I know of other groups where there's very little self-criticism. But we have to be careful that we draw a line between self-criticism and self-defeatism. We have to make sure we make a distinction between self-criticism and self-defeatism. I'm calling on PNC pit bulls and AFC pit bulls. And it seems as though my friend Andrew Weeks is now an AFC pit bull. I'm calling on AFC pit bulls and PNC pit bulls. And if there are WPA pit bulls out there, all you stop now. All you pitting must be pitted against the other side. This confounded nonsense has been going on for too long, and this confounded nonsense must stop. We are hemorrhaging. We are allowing people like James a free pass. We are allowing people like Gita a free pass because we are giving them a reason to jump ship. An excuse, sorry, not a reason, an excuse. I don't know what you're all about. Are you fighting among yourselves? Are you notice Jack Dio and Orphan Ali just fight? I heard they just pull gun out for Matty. But they don't come out and fight in Matty in the open. I am saying, I am not trying to tell you all not to be critical of your leaders. If I do that, I'll be a hypocrite who has been more self-critical than me. But I say openly, I ain't doing that in this season. And I still see people on our side who raking down one another. Please stop. This is the grandmother and grandfather of all elections. This is not just an election we're entering into. We have to find a way to be self-critical without being self-destructive. Give me a not so perfect Aubrey Norton that any one of them in the PPP, any day, any night. Give me an imperfect Nigel Hughes, any day, any night, any time, in front of them that over there. Black people, sometimes you all are too sensible for your own good. You all stop it. I'm asking you all. I'm begging you all to please stop it. If ever there's a time for us to hold one head, it's now. There may not be another chance after this election. There may not be another chance after this election. While we over here talking about small party and big party and medium party, the other side is creating small parties and funneling money from America to the small parties, just in case they fall short and they need one vote, they get a small party like Asha Kisoon for go in there. Asha Kisoon get 200, take are you vote. Some of you vote for Asha Kisoon, some of you vote for MTM, some of you all vote for this body, that body in them little party, and look what they take all your vote and do. Now we hear some of you running wrong and talking, but Asadin, what is wrong with you all black men and black women? Do you all think Asadin has your interest at hand? I don't know Asadin. I hear you just share out thing to black people. But everybody feels they can share out in the black people because black people are hungry belly. And yet some of you all running around, but Asadin and trying to convince us Asadin is anti-Jack Dio and anti this, and he go come black people, y'all, please stop it, man. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Asadin, Pasadin, Dasadin, give them your vote and see where they're going to carry it. The other morning, little black girl, reporter from Chronicle, come to the WPA's press conference and try to take shies and pass me. And try to take shies and pass WPA. I mean, let half punchy. And 99.99% of you all say, good Dr. Hines. But one or two of my own supporters, oh, Dr. Hines, why you rough up the little girl like that? Kwame Mackay, acting on behalf of Jack Dio, sending that girl with a gun to shoot me. And, oh, she's just doing a job. Well, it's nice when the police shoot black people down on the road, they don't say they're doing the job. When they lick down black people stall in Georgetown, they don't send black people and Indian people to do it and all them by themselves, we're doing the job. Don't tell me the girl is doing her job. If they put a gun in she hand and come, send her to come and shoot me, she's fair game. She has a choice. Tell them you're not doing it or leave the job. Do not put a gun in your hand and come to shoot your brother or your sister or your father. I was once in a case against the government. And they sent an African lawyer to fight against me and another defendant. And the lawyer, Pidgey-wing, she said nothing. And as we were leaving court, she whispered to me. She said, "No way, Dr. Hines, anybody will get me to come to court and prosecute 2 black men." I remember that until I die. Last August, I got a call to go to an office to collect a donation for our emancipation thing. And when I walked in, it was the lawyer. And I remind, she said, she said, "You know me?" I say, "If me know you, I will never forget you." That lady, she said, "If you send me a gongo, but me ain't going there." And thing. She was doing her job and she chose not. She chose not. She risked losing her job, but she made it very clear she's not going into court to lie on 2 black men. And where she come from, plenty more there. And that is why I am not tolerating young black people in me face on behalf of the PPP who don't like it, lump it. You let that little girl must get more certificate, more brains in she head than Kwame Mackay would ever dream of getting. And she's taking instructions to Kwame for come and take Shai's pass. Black people of substance. Our young black people have to stop the nonsense of allowing people to turn them into mercenaries. Let Kwame come and ask me them questions. I bet if Kwame see me walking at one side, the road, he go up on the next side. I know that. Don't send black children. Put guns in their hands and send them out to kill their fellow black men and women. Don't do it. Come yourself, Kwame. Come yourself, Kwame. Come and ask me them questions. And as I said before, that little girl get mother. She get father. She ain't fall from coconut tree. And she mother and father must watch into your face and say, "Girl, you get a job. Keep your job, but do not go out there. Do not go out there and do that." Black people, we gotta hold this shit together. We can't lose it. Arbery's not presidential. What they ask is presidential. If Arbery's not presidential or finally presidential, but the other one, Barrett presidential, and the rest of them, they presidential. What presidential? What makes you presidential, or what makes someone more presidential than the other? Aubrey's presidential. Nigeria's presidential. I am presidential. Aubrey's strengths may be Nigeria's weaknesses or weakness, and Nigeria's strength may be Aubrey's weakness. My weakness may be Nigeria's strength, and vice versa. But we are all presidential. If presidential means the ability to communicate and convince our people to stay the course. If presidential means the ability to stand up and put your body as a barricade against people marching to kill your people, then I am presidential. And more presidential than them piece of shit over there. Because they're not going to put their shoulder out. They're not going to put their chest out to defend one black man and woman. I am prepared to do it. I spent my life doing it. If presidential means looking at Guyana as it is now and asking questions about what it means to pull Guyana together and make it a place that all those of us who tenant it can move from a situation of want to a condition of happiness. If the ability to think through policies to make that happen, then Nigeria's presidential, Aubrey's presidential, and I am presidential. And all three of us are followers in our parties who are presidential, some of them more presidential than those of us who are put at the top as leaders. Where are we getting off? Cussing one another about who's presidential and who's not presidential. There are more important questions to ask. Yes, I am the first one to say that our inability to be nimble on our feet, well, to be more nimble on our feet for the last 4 years, has resulted in giving the PPP half of a pass. I'm the first one to admit that. We didn't give them a full pass because we've been doing things. Could we have done more? Have we erred by not using the parameters of the streets more? Yes, we have erred big time. Big time. And for that, I apologize to you all. But our inability to do that, does that mean that you throw it in the drain and leave yourselves open to the thugs on the other side? Aubrey Nortness explained why he doesn't like a certain kind of street protest. All right? Fair enough, Aubrey. But people are saying, Aubrey, with justification. You say you don't like one kind of street protest, but we're not seeing no kind. Aubrey is very quick to say, I didn't say no street protests. I said I don't think we should be engaging in street protests as we know it in the old days. All right, fair enough, Aubrey. But it is fair to ask Aubrey where the street protests of this day. You said it street protest the whole day. It can't work. What happened to the street protests of this new day? It is a fair question to ask Aubrey. I share Aubrey's reasoning. I share his analysis on street protests, his reasoning. I do not share his conclusions. Does that mean that I don't think he's presidential or no? Not because I disagree with you on your conclusions that you're suddenly not presidential material. I do not agree with Aubrey that given what the state is expecting to happen and that they're waiting to manipulate street protests. I agree with Aubrey with all of that. What I don't agree with him with is the conclusion that then we give up the streets. Because that's the sum total of Aubrey's stance, is that we have given up the streets. We have given up the streets. I'm saying that to say that I have differences with Aubrey. I have differences with Aubrey. I have differences with Nigel. I don't think Nigel places to be out there talking about coalition and life support. Don't think Nigel places the out there to tell wait till March 31st to tell your people that you're coalescing. I don't agree with him. Do I then conclude that he's not presidential? Absolutely not. I am saying all of us have challenges. Aubrey has to keep one eye on his divided party. He has to keep another eye on the international community, which is going to try to tell the PNC what to do and what not to do. And he has to keep an eye on holding his support base together. And then he has to keep an eye on a thuggish government that is going to cut black people's throat in a minute. He has to balance all of that. Because as a leader of the big party, the biggest party on our side, he has to deal with the international community and what they want. He has to deal with his divided party and what they want and don't want. He has to deal with his suffering supporters. And he has to deal with the devils on the other side. I don't envy him. I don't have to deal with the international community. I'm a small party. International community don't, unless they want to use you to do something. I don't have that burden. I don't have a party that is as divided. And I'm being honest here, we have some divisions in the WPA, but it's not consequential. Our divisions are basically some of the old-time supporters who remember the blows with PNC and still suspicious of the PNC, still feel the PNC will always cock we, still feel the PNC will kill Rodney, and so we must have nothing to do. Those are legitimate concerns. So we got to be little thing, but it's not consequential. So I don't have to worry the international community. I don't have to worry the divided party. My worries are you. You all. I can spend all my time on that. I can spend all my time in defending Black people and poor people. Nigeria have to dance in between the rains. He has the traditional Black middle class, whose agenda is not always the agenda of the Black working class. He has to deal with them because he comes from the class. He has to deal with an AFC that is divided between those who want coalition, those who want the AFC to go by itself, and those who want the AFC to go with PPP. He got to deal with division in party too. He has to deal with the ghost of Sharon Das, meaning that Black people don't want the AFC of Sharon Das, but some of them like Nigeria. He has to dance in between those rains. Aubrey got to dance in between he rain. I got to dance in between me rain. But for me, always, we must be driven by you all. Because if you add up all the middle class votes, we won't even bring third or fourth. If we add up all the dissidents in the parties, it won't come to 100. The bulk of the votes are coming from you all. Ultimately, if we are erring, we must err on the side of you all. My point is that biometrics, the terrible voters list, will make the difference between us winning and losing. And I know if we go up on the road, there is the risk that they will try to infiltrate the march, the protests. I know that. But in politics, sometimes you have to make some hard choices. If I have a choice between going on the streets and risking an infiltration and not going on the streets, not getting biometrics and risking losing the election, I rather risk the infiltrating the march, which is likely to push and pressure the other side to back down. I rather risk that infiltration than to risk, don't go out and march and protest and risk losing the government. In politics, you got to be clear sometimes. I hope to convince Aubrey and Nigeria. It's not only Aubrey alone, you know. You all ever see the AFC organize any march on the road since they banned as a party? You are licking down Nigeria. Sorry, Aubrey and the PNC for not going on the road. And some of you are, I like Nigeria and I like the AFC. You all ever see, well, Nigeria is a trooper, but you all ever see the AFC organize anything on the road? Think about it. At least Aubrey used to organize things on the road. I'm saying that you all have to balance all of these things when you all are coming to a conclusion. in the immediate days after the PPP came back to power. You all remember? It was Kidaki and the WPA who used to hold them picketing exercise in Buxton and Victoria. And that thing that they have in front of GCOM is Kidaki started. It'd be a little party, you know. We used to get 70 and 80 people and 60 people and 30 people, but we were out there. You ever see the AFC organize anything on the road? They're not a road party. And I suppose you all are hard on Aubrey because he has a history of road. I am saying, give me, I'd rather take a choice. Take a gamble. Go on the road, risk being infiltrated, than to not go on the road and risk them not doing biometrics. And we lose the election. That is where we are. In all of that, we cannot afford to lick one another down. You all can ask, well, what Nigel bring to the table? If Nigel is not out there to defend us all, we would be in jail. Well, he's a good liar. He's not just a good liar, he's a people's liar. Nigel never take a cent from the WPF to defend all we. We barely ought we call Nigel. Back in the old days, I tell you all, I used to have two liars. Benji Gibson and Peter Britton. High-class liars. Free, never paid them a cent. Mr. Britton has to tell me later on, he said, you get famous now. One thing I'm begging you, he dead and gone now. He said, one thing I'm begging you, Mr. Hines, tell Guyana I was your lawyer when you were a young revolutionary. That is why I always call him name and call Benji Gibson. And of the young lawyers now, one young lady, about 10 or 15 years ago, she met me coming out of court. I was there for some case or something. And she pulled me aside. She said, Mr. Hines, I is not a political girl. I'm not an upfront, but if you ever get in trouble, here is my number. Call me. I will defend you for free. One young girl. Unfortunately, she's not practicing anymore. No other young lion ever come up to me and offer their services. Nigel Hughes does it. He represents PNC people, WPA people, AFC people. And you cannot say, oh, he's just a good lawyer. He's a fighter. And he doesn't have to do it. He's rich. He can get the best cases. Nigel Hughes has committed what you call class suicide. Is that he has left his class and come down in the gutter with we. So he's not just a good liar, he's a good fighter too. And so, sisters and brothers, we got to stop this thing, man. And we got to pull together. Disagreements we will always have. Old people say teeth and tongue will always bite. You eat, you bite your own teeth, your own tongue. You go throw away your tongue and say, tongue, you're not presidential because you bite them. You bite your own tongue till you take them out and say, tongue, come out of my mouth, I got no use for you no more. You're not presidential. Sisters and brothers, my call to you all tonight is again and again to remember, we snooze, we lose, because we're not fighting any ordinary fight. We're fighting the battle of our lives since the days of walking through the plantation. And you're telling me Anil said we get biometrics? Easy biometrics. Because when they buy, they vote two time or how much time at Manripo, and them they'll get catch them. He stopped me car a Manripo to tell me the buy make a mistake. And I must tell them PNC leader, let me settle it at the level of the party. So he no good but biometrics, Anil. And take Anil, those chaps. We are in this together, and my plea to you all, agree, sometimes to disagree. Disagree, but don't be disagreeable. You can't say Nigeria is not presidential and then tomorrow you still got to go and vote for the coalition with the inside. You can't say Aubrey is not presidential when you still, at the end of the day, got to go and vote for him. We are all presidential. And if we're all presidential, we are all worthy. As I ended last night, I'm going to end tonight. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The trilogy, the triumvirate, 3 in 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Sometimes we have to distinguish between the forest and the trees. There can be no forest if they're not trees. But sometimes you must not mistake the tree for the forest. I'm gonna have a second shift tonight. I think Vincent and I are over on Dokespan tonight, if you all get time. I think it starts in a minute or so. Vincent Alexander and I are gonna be over there. I think the topic is coalition politics the future of Guyana? Vincent and I are going to be over there, and they're going to have the usual suspects on the other side. But you all know, Vincent and I float like a butterfly. And the old timers know the rest. Sting like a bee. Our one and only brother, Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly. Sting like a bee. If you all have time, come over to Wolfspan. See you all tomorrow. Vincent Alexander is going to be here tomorrow, because you all notice in today's paper, GCOM talks now, they say now that you have to have the constitutional and legal thing and so on. Well, we always know that, and we've been telling them to do it from the time Noah was in short pants. But we dep on them. We dep on them. So Vincent is going to be here tomorrow. But before then, tonight, we're going to be over there rumbling. See you all tomorrow.